One night, 4 hours of sleep. And 70% of your natural killer cells, the immune cells that hunt cancer, they're gone. It's not speculation. That's actually peer-reviewed research. Did you know that every year, 1.6 billion people across 70 countries, they participate in the largest sleep experiment in human history? You know what that's called? And I hate it. Daylight savings time. When we lose just 1 hour of sleep in the spring, heart attacks spike 24% the very next day. When we gain an hour in the fall, they drop 21%. 1 hour. You see, sleep isn't rest. Sleep is when your brain clears toxins, your body releases growth hormones, your immune system activates, and without it, you age faster, you get sicker, and, well, you die sooner. Chris Burris and Patty Greer, they're back from C60 Evo to break down the biology of sleep, the science of what happens when you don't get enough, and their new sleep study data on ESS 60. This is the stuff I take every single morning. Chris, Patty, welcome back to the Next News Network. I want to talk to you guys now. There you go. There you go. My big bottle's on my nightstand.
My big bottle's right here, baby.
Let's go. Let's go. I want to
That's
talk
right.
about this, and because it's what's interesting. That's the big one. That's the good one. That's the one I have on my nightstand. And then what's interesting is, with respect to, we're going to talk about a sleep study, but I take it every morning, right? I take it 2 teaspoons every single morning. Make sure my wife also follows along. But Chris, I want to ask you about Matthew Walker's book, Why We Sleep. It's been waking people up to the dangers of sleep deprivation. And some nights, you guys, I don't get any sleep. I'm up working, tracking stories. But you guys, you've built a presentation around the biology of sleep. So let's start with the basics. What's happening in our bodies when we sleep? Why is it so critical?
Yeah. You did such a great job at the intro of, I mean, if you think about Why We Sleep, the book, this is by Dr. Matthew Walker. The way I describe it is it's the most terrifying book about sleep you will ever read. I call it the Freddy Krueger of sleep books. You may remember Freddy Krueger from Nightmare on Elm Street. Remember, he scared you out of your sleep. This
Yes.
guy will scare you into your sleep because it's 25 years of research on sleep and the detrimental impact that not getting enough sleep has. In fact, in the beginning, in his opening, he shares, if you are reading this and by chance you happen to fall asleep, as an author, I will not be offended. That is the purpose of this book. It is to make you read it and be concerned about sleep. If we think about sleep, one of the things is it's universally in all species. In fact, you think about the most kind of precarious species like a dolphin, right? They're underwater, they breathe air. They actually, half of their brain sleeps at a time in order to allow them to continue to sleep and to get that sleep. And think about how detrimental from an evolutionary perspective sleep is. You're lying on the ground, basically meat ready to be eaten by a predator, right? Like,
Right.
but we still all sleep. So it's really obviously incredibly important. You've touched on the impact on the immune system, cognitive restoration, physical rejuvenation. It is everything. In fact, we're the only species on the planet that will forego sleep for no useful, right, purpose, right? Like, we're not pursuing food. We're not potentially we're trying to mate, right? Like, if we're out past the time that we should be sleeping, but we're the only creature on the planet that will do these things. So
yeah, no, I mean, like, there's nights. I mean, I remember when I was in like a massive coding session. We're building a new system for our production. I was actually up for 26 hours straight. Yeah.
yeah. And it's, after you read this book, you might like reconsider
Yeah.
consider that because it is detrimental. And the argument, and here's the reality. Sometimes time is different, meaning the time has to be done now. And it's not that I get the option to sleep. I have to complete it, even if I'm working less effectively. But the data is really clear. When you are not getting proper sleep, you are less effective. I like to say, like, everybody's aware that sleep is good for your mental, physical, and emotional well-being. And we all know we must absolutely get sleep, unless there's something else to do. And that's the wrong attitude. You really should be focused on sleep.
Let's talk about the immune data because we touched on that in the open. It is terrifying. After just one night of 4.5 hours of sleep, natural killer cell activity drops 70%. These are the
Yep.
ones that hunt cancer. So can you walk us through what the research shows about sleep loss and immune collapse?
Yeah, well, I mean that's if that's not scary enough, we'll continue to scare you into getting proper sleep. Yeah, 70%, and this is all peer reviewed content. Yeah, it's the thing that helps you manage cancers, blood pressure. In this case, it's a 4 to 5 hours of sleep instead of a full. They kind of define 7.5 to 9 hours of sleep opportunity. Blood pressure, your 24-hour blood pressure increases. Inflammation and your endothelial dysfunction. So endothelial is really just the lining of your blood vessels, and obviously you want those to function well, or you're gonna have increases in blood pressure.
Wow.
Um, it reduces nitric oxide, driving early atherosclerosis, insulin sensitivity. When you don't get a proper amount of sleep, you actually eat more. I think it's something like 20% more calories the days after you're not getting proper sleep.
No
Like,
way.
yeah, you need sleep, absolutely need sleep. And I love this. You already touched on it. When you say, hey, there's a 1.x billion person, 1.6 billion person study that doesn't, first off, it's hard to get 10,000 people into a study. How are you getting 1.6 billion? And it is daylight savings time. And people are like, there's a lot of movements to get rid of it. I certainly would support that.
Mm-hmm.
But people don't realize the actual physiological impact that it has on us. And this is just 1 hour of sleep. Like you said, 24% increase in heart attacks when we lose that hour of sleep. I don't know why the numbers are different, right? 21% reduction in heart attacks when we gain that hour of sleep. And just one other thing, because I don't want to bemoan this. I've already touched on it. Like, we are the only creature that will forego sleep for a not beneficial purpose. So hopefully we've got a good picture, sleep really good. And if we go back to,
what's funny is that every like cycle, there's always this bill that shows up and it's about getting rid of daylight savings time, and it gets a lot of sponsors and there's all this talk about it. And it always ends up dying somewhere in committee. We never see it actually progress. And I'm always like championing it. Like, let's go. Let's get rid of it. Because I know what it does to me. I know what it does to my kids. I know, it's so disruptive. When you look at these numbers you're showing us here, like, I'm going to put it up full screen. I mean, that's a terrifying consideration. 24% increase in heart attacks. And then right on the opposite side of it, 21% reduction. I mean, the science is speaking for itself right here, and there's really no other explanation as to why they want to keep this archaic, thing around. I mean, this right here is all the information that these people in Congress need. Let's get it over with.
But by the way, there are similar numbers for car accidents.
Oh,
right?
my
Like,
goodness.
so there are detrimental, like, you have increases in car accidents the day that you lose the 1 hour of sleep. There are so we all kind of think, oh, 1 hour of sleep, I'm a little groggy, I need an extra cup of coffee. No, like, these are serious physiological impacts, and you really want to do something about it.
Well, it's kind of like jet lag, Like, I was just in Canada for 5 days. I'm on the East Coast. I'm sorry, the West Coast. A 2 hour difference. And like that was a huge impact just trying to readjust when I came back home. So, I mean, okay, anyway, but I'm just trying to point out, like, how the similarities with this and jet lag too.
I do have to ask, how diligent were you taking your C60 Evo with you? Because when I travel, even internationally with my wife, we barely feel jet lag.
Well, I have to confess that I did not bring any C60 with me. And I was a little concerned that I wouldn't have it. And the reason I didn't is because, this is my fault. I should have asked you guys. I should have done something, but I didn't have like a convenient method to transport it. I should have had the capsules with me, but I'm already out of the capsules. So, and I didn't want to try to measure out every single thing I would be taking and put it in a tiny bottle and then put it in a bag and then, have it explode in my luggage and then have, everything have a problem. So I was actually without my C60 for 5 days.
All right.
And I know I'm about to get grilled by Patty. She's going to smack me down. I can feel it coming. And it's funny, I was actually replying to your email and earlier, and I was about to tell you, I'm like, no, I can't.
Yes, you
can't.
can.
Patty's going to be, she's going to grill me.
I am Mrs. Claus, and all
Yeah.
you need to do is wink and say, I'm out of it, and it's yours. So
Oh, well,
I'll get you a
but
little more oil and a little more capsules, but
thank
there's
you.
no excuse to run out when we work together. But the capsules are what you want for traveling, because
Yeah.
they won't take them out of your carry-on, but they will take a 4-ounce bottle out.
Right, and these are the capsules here we're talking about, and they are like, had I had these, it would have been a no-brainer. But I will confess that I could not wait to get home. As much as I love the investigation we were doing in Canada, I just wanted to take my C60. I wanted to get the stuff back into my system, and start this process again, because I remember what happened the last time I was out for over a week. It was much longer than a week before, so I didn't want to have an extended stretch, and I was willing to kind of risk it in the nature of expediency for travel. But I won't do that again, Patty. I won't. I promise.
And when you told me you were out, what did I do? I sent you the 32-ounce big boy bottle.
You sent me the big one.
Yeah, so never run out when you don't have to, and you don't have to.
Oh, I love it. No, and I really enjoy the taste, the flavor, and just the benefits as well. Knowing that my mitochondria is getting totally replenished, like we did that the last time we had you guys on. I think you have a slide on that too here.
Yes, yeah, we do.
But and I was explaining it to my wife, how the mitochondria works, and yes, this is the slide, the boss theory, and how the C60, is able to collect all the bad stuff, and it's just amazing product all around. So I'll shut up now, and I'll let you guys get back to it.
No, don't, because I learned the greatest thing from you in the last show, which was that you roll out of bed, you put it in your mouth,
True.
Start your day. Well, I've never done that until you told me.
Wow.
So now every morning I grab my big spoon, I do a tablespoon of olive oil right in my mouth first thing, and I look in the mirror and I go, you just Franchied.
Nice.
I do. I call it a Franchi move every morning that I remember. And it makes such a difference. Like right now, I am in great shape because I did it first thing. But
every morning. That's my thing.
It's my new thing.
I love it, and I swish it around in my mouth, and I don't know why, but it's like, I think it's better than mouthwash personally. Whatever it's doing, it's working, and I love it. So I'll let you, Chris, you want to tell us more about this boss theory for those that don't remember or may have missed the last one?
Yeah, well, let me just touch
sure.
on our sleep study, and
let's go back to that.
I want to point out something, because we've said it a couple of times, right? We're taking this in the morning, positively impacting sleep at night. I'm not aware of anything that you can take in the morning and positively have an impact on sleep, right? You can certainly get exercise in the morning and you will sleep better that night. You can get some exposure to the sun early in the morning, and that'll get your circadian rhythm in line with the rising and falling of the sun. That'll help you sleep that evening. But to take something in the morning and have it have a positively impact your sleep is extremely surprising. I'm just not aware of anything that's on the market. I'll touch on this study real quick. It's a small cohort of people. It's a crossover study. So basically we had the participants give us survey data on the quality of their sleep. They were rating their sleep. How easy was it to fall asleep? How restless were they? And then how did they feel after? We collected that data 10 days before they took the product, 10 days while they were on the product, 10 days when they were back off the product, and then 10 days back on. That's called a crossover study.
So this was your own study.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. This is new. I don't think I was aware of this sleep study in process. So these are new results.
Well, we had this is actually dated. It's probably about 2 years old. We're in the process of starting a clinical trial. So this is kind of ad hoc. It's our own surveys, et cetera.
Because I know about the migraine study you guys are working on.
Yes.
That's new. Okay.
That is new, and the additional clinical trial quality sleep data
Okay.
is underway.
So sorry for interruption. I want to hear
Yeah,
more about this.
yeah, no problem. So what's exciting about this, right, is that 100% of the participants, this is the average of the participants, but 100% of them reported improvements in sleep when they were on the product. So absolutely fantastic. We are really confident that this has a positive impact on your sleep. Just a little bit, the molecule we're talking about is this ESS60 molecule. It was discovered in 85. The scientist who discovered it won the Nobel Prize in 96. Our lab actually started manufacturing it in 1991, a full 5 years before they won the Nobel Prize. We've talked about some amazing studies. It is responsible for the single longest longevity experimental result on mammals, in this case Wistar rats, in history, and that's peer-reviewed published research. What we think it's doing. So how is it possible that you're taking something in the morning and positively impacting sleep that night? And it is contingent on this BOSS theory. So the BOSS theory is the buffering oxidative stress system. And the way I picture its impact on sleep, well, let me go over this and then I'll talk about how I think this is impacting sleep. So the mitochondria is the powerhouse of every cell. There's between 50 and 5,000 mitochondria in every cell in your body, except for your blood cells, which have 0, and your brain and neurons, which have 2 million. Now, brain function, sleep, like we'll start to see this kind of manifest. Like all power sources, there is a negative byproduct. In the case of mitochondria, it's reactive oxygen species. The way I picture these, they're like little bumper cars. If they're left to their own devices, everything they smack into, they're in your body, causing rust, oxidative stress, oxidative damage. Internal to the mitochondria, you have glutathione and melatonin. These are antioxidants to manage those reactive oxygen species. It's worth noting there's so many parallels. Melatonin is the sleep hormone. We believe that the ESS60 molecule is working right there alongside, not replacing, but alongside melatonin. And you can see in this healthy mitochondria, you've got these pretty blue reactive oxygen species because they've bonded with either melatonin or glutathione. But what happens if you stress a mitochondria? Of course, how do you stress a mitochondria? I like to point out, if you're alive in modern society, you have stressed mitochondria. And at that point is when your mitochondria starts producing more reactive oxygen species than can be managed internally. Did you need to jump in?
No, I'm just
Okay.
I'm watching and just absorbing.
So you can see in this stressed mitochondria, there are some bonded reactive oxygen species that aren't going to do any damage, but it's producing more reactive oxygen species than can be managed by that glutathione and melatonin. That's, again, when they run around like little bumper cars, everything they smack into, they cause that rust, that oxidative stress, that oxidative damage. And that's where the ESS60 molecule comes in and shines. We know from peer-reviewed published research that this molecule gets into the mitochondria. We also know from way back in the 90s that it can hold up to 6 negatively charged particles. So here it's holding them so they're not running around like little bumper cars causing damage. And then when that mitochondria can replenish the glutathione and the melatonin, then it just comes on and bonds to these. It would convert these red ones to blue ones, right? So the mild blue ones that aren't going to do any damage. And that is why we say that this ESS60 molecule is the boss. The summary is that the ESS60 molecule, according to the BOSS theory, is reducing the negative impact of stress mitochondria. And if you reduce the negative impact of stress mitochondria, you should have systemic benefits. You should have what we have, which are head-to-toe testimonials. And then again, mitochondria is so important. I kind of picture the sleep process as like this checklist your body has to go through. This is, a gross exaggeration, but hey, I've got to deal with that emotional issue. I've got to fix my mitochondria. And what we think this is doing is making sure that the check mark for fixing mitochondria is already mostly done or all the way done by the time you go to sleep. And so then this is probably why it's having a positive impact on sleep.
It's amazing, and I don't think people really understand the mitochondria's importance enough. And then the introduction of the C60 molecule, which I've been happily taking for so long. I can only imagine. Like, I wonder if there's like a test that I could take, having blood work done or something to address my mitochondria health level. Is there anything that exists like that?
Yeah. So, two things. One, we're running studies on the downstream impacts of what we're describing here. So, one of the downstream impacts should be reduction in an inflammatory marker called HSCRP. So, that's high sensitivity C reactive protein. It's typically associated with cardiovascular diseases and cancers. We've got so many reports that we're
Wow.
reducing HSCRP. In fact, there's a peer reviewed published research paper where it reduced HSCRP numbers in beagles, so the dog beagles. So we're actually bringing this into kind of a human clinic, not kind of a human clinical trial. So that is one of the
Wow.
downstream impacts that we're already kind of championing.
Well, I'm looking forward. So is that study underway, or is that
We're
something that?
we're still we've got a policy study. You've got IRC, which is kind of the governing body that needs to review them and make sure that they're safe for the people that are going to participate in. So we expect that to start before the end of this year.
Oh wow. Well, that's exciting.
Yes.
Oh, I can't wait to hear about that.
Not a lot of supplement labs are still spending money once they put their products out. We continue to grow. And I'm really proud of the lab. They keep dumping a big pile of cash and effort into these studies because our products are delivering results that we have to prove before we can say it to the public. But ask anybody taking it, like the three of us, definitely are convinced.
No,
Yeah.
you don't have to sell me. I know the results, and that's probably why I was able to sustain a 26-hour, coding session, because my body's operating on all cylinders, and my mitochondria is cleaned out. But I do need to get the sleep. I don't need any additional stress, but having the supplement at my disposal is certainly a benefit. I do want to ask about the cardiovascular stress, metabolic disruption. You show that 4 to 5 nights of short sleep
Mm.
actually can cause 20 to 30% reduction in insulin sensitivity.
Yep.
Tell me more about that.
Well, I mean, the reality is insulin is how you handle sugar. And when your insulin is out of balance, right, the downstream effect is actually diabetes. And this is the thing. So you're looking at pre-diabetic glucose response. So you look like a pre-diabetic if you just have 4 or 5 nights of short sleep. Again, it is so dramatic, the negative impact of sleep. So if there's one message, the first message is make sure you get, and according to Dr. Matthew Walker, get your 7.5 to 9 hours of sleep opportunities. That doesn't mean you're actually necessarily asleep, but you're given your body the opportunity and mind the opportunity to sleep. 7.5 to 9 hours of sleep opportunity. And then if you're not getting those, just understand you're having a negative physiological impact. I mean, here's a thing to scare you. The reason that Dr. Matthew Walker ended up doing 25 years of research on sleep is because he was initially studying dementia and Alzheimer's, the scariest
Wow.
disease on the planet. And he noticed such a correlation between sleep and lack of sleep and the negative impact on Alzheimer's and dementia. And when he noticed that, he started to focus specifically on sleep for the duration of his research.
That's remarkable. Absolutely remarkable. So tell me more. I know we've got more information here, and I'm showing some of the products that I'm currently taking. So how does sleep loss accelerate aging and disease?
Well, I mean, if you're going to have increased blood pressure, your natural killer cells kind of are reduced by 70%, increasing your exposure and risk for cancer. If you're going to have 20 to 30% reduction in insulin sensitivity and your risk for diabetes. And there are some groups that will call dementia and Alzheimer's diabetes 3, right? We have 1, 2. They'll call it diabetes 3 because your insulin level is so intimately tied with Alzheimer's and dementia. Those are, check 1, check 2, check 3 on causing negative impacts physiologically.
Now, you had a slide up there, and I remember we touched on this briefly, and Patty really were able to break it down for us with respect to the multiple months and what happens over time. Can you bring up that slide? Because I want Patty to break it down for us, specifically what the impact is.
I also want to talk about this is the first show I've done in 2 weeks. First time in 5 years I've been sick. And what I learned by not taking any biotics, because I take C60 Evo, was remarkable. I don't know anybody who would have tolerated 2 weeks sober from antibiotics or whatever they offer. But I did it. And I can tell you, it even split my lip, what I just went through.
Oh,
And there's a
wow.
split on the top of my nose on the skin. I looked in the mirror like, oh, come on, that too? No, I got nailed. I got really nailed 2 weeks ago. And I took photos of the sky because it was blatant. I closed all the windows and doors, because it was a really bad day in the sky in Colorado. And I got sick. And I never get sick, but I've been down. I've been
Wow.
really tested, and I'm glad to be on the other side. But wow, I mean, we talk about war. Everybody's all into the war. Well, there's a war against our body that
Oh,
is
every day.
more important to us. Like if we just stop being out there and come back, we're going to realize, yikes. But the result, I want to say, in the last 4 nights, I haven't slept this well in my life. I felt like I was on a pillow. And it was because for 2 weeks, I made myself detox. And the last 4 nights, again, I haven't done this since detoxing from uranium poisoning in 2019, but I woke up in a pool of sweat the last 4 nights after 3 hours of sleep. And I called my homeopathy master and I said, okay, am I taking too much? Because I'm really trying to get well. She goes, no, that doesn't happen. And I said, well, I got a lot to detox. So all this detox, I mean, it was like I also pulled a plug and my whole system drained out. I'm like, what? I've been blown away by this present detox. And all of a sudden, even though I do have to go through this monster sweat, and then I go back to bed, I'm back in this cloud. I haven't slept this well since I can remember. My problem was I was so toxic, like everybody else, because I eat, I drink water, and
Well,
wow.
did you increase your daily regimen of the C60?
Yeah, I definitely did my morning Franchi.
Oh, don't you dare! You called me foul.
Really,
Oh,
let me
that
say
was
that twice.
just wrong, Patty.
That was
Oh
And
so
my.
wrong. Okay,
Oh,
can we erase that?
oh, don't. That name is banned from this channel. Holy cow!
I'm gonna pretend it was a joke.
I'll forgive you. I forgive
I'm
you.
telling you, I have blown my nose so much that even my glasses, I have to keep pulling them up. Like I think I detoxed so much, my head got smaller. This is unusual. I'm in a new body right now.
But did
But
you take more? Like, did you
oh
increase
yeah,
your dosage? Like, how? Like,
I
what was your?
Franchi first thing in the morning, big tablespoon, right out of bed.
Mm,
Swish it in your mouth because it's great for your teeth and gums. I no longer have receding gums.
wow.
I can't say it's going to work for everybody because I'm not allowed to, but I no longer have receding gums. And my daughter, I said, she's dealing with it. And I said, swish it all the time.
Yeah.
And she said, well, I don't want to have yellow teeth. And I was like, yeah, Dr. Gundry says it's actually good for whitening your teeth, olive oil. So, I mean, there's nothing it doesn't fix, in my opinion, but I take enough of it to know. But I
Well, I
had,
mean, because you have the topical applications of it. You have the internal applications of it. I can only imagine. Like, I don't. I mean, maybe Chris knows. I mean, is mitochondria like everywhere? Is it just in the blood? Is it on the skin? Obviously, if we're swishing it in our mouth, and it's getting in our gums and our tongue and all these other things. I mean, it's the C60 is such a tiny molecule that it's having an impact. Because I went to this event and we I was curious as to like how the facial application, the Youth Renew duo that I have, was curious as to how does it function, how does it work, and I literally took pictures of the product, and I threw it in the ingredients, and I threw it into ChatGPT, and I said, tell me how this is affecting my skin directly. And it was remarkable to hear how both of these products, when they're combined, and how each one functions, and what I learned, and how it actually, the different layering of the skin, and how it penetrates this and that, and how it can, like with the peptide and the crow's feet and all these things. I was actually blown away with what ChatGPT was able to tell me. So I'm getting kind of sidetracked, but tell me,
no,
like,
it's great.
with the mitochondria we were speaking of, where does it exist?
Well, let's start with, okay, why might swishing in your mouth be of value, right? Because the ancient Egyptians used to brush their teeth with olive oil, because olive oil on its own, right, even without the ESS60 molecule, is antiviral, antibacterial, and is very healthy. Even in the original study where the rats given our product lived 90% longer, the ones given olive oil alone lived 18% longer. So olive oil is really good for you. And then you start thinking about, well, where is mitochondria in your body? There's between 50 and 5,000 mitochondria in every cell in your body.
Every single cell.
Except blood.
Well, except for your blood, and then 2
Oh.
million in your brain, and your nervous system has 2 million.
So
right?
even on the layer of my skin has mitochondria in it.
Yes.
Okay.
Every cell is
So
filled
it needs
with mitochondria.
Wow.
The
the
powerhouse.
energy it needs to do its skin job or liver job, heart job, kidney job, or whatever. The power source is the mitochondria, right? So sometimes it gets a little redundant when I'm like, well, how might this positively impact the liver? And we have testimonials as it relates to people consuming alcohol and not having necessarily the detrimental impacts on the following day.
Okay. All right. I'm going to tell you what happened.
Okay. All right.
Last time you were here, I was telling you I was a little concerned about
You had an event, yeah.
going to this gala, and so there's drinking involved, and I haven't had any alcohol in months, and I'm like was concerned. And in the last interview, we talked about taking the C60. So I took like a shot of C60 before I went out, and then I didn't have anything to really prepare to take it with me. It just wasn't. There wasn't like a transport. I know. I should have. I know.
It's our fault.
I should have had the capsules, but I did. As soon as I got back home, boom, I took a huge shot, and it was like next morning. I didn't feel bad. I didn't feel like I had, had 7 vodka sodas all night. And it was.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah,
We're
it
not
was
allowed to
wild.
call it the hangover helper, but it does.
Yeah, no, it's good. It was actually. I was anxious to see, using my body as the guinea pig to see how it would react, because I'd never taken it in that capacity before. Like as a proactive for, a night of, celebratory, moments. But it definitely worked for me.
It's nice to have fun, right? And then not have some of the negative side effects in the morning, right? And then you might ask, well, why might that be true? And I will say, well, if your liver cells are processing more efficiently and you're reducing the negative impact of your stressed liver cells, because there's one thing that's very clear: when you're drinking, you are stressing your liver cells, then everything should be better. Now, if you only got 3 or 4 hours of sleep, right, this can help if you're just getting 3 or 4 hours of sleep. But if you also have that to deal with and you're only getting 3, you'll be tired, but some of the other kind of side effects you don't end up experiencing.
What's interesting is, if we could bring up that slide one more time with the mitochondria, I want to bring it up on screen, because there's the glutathione element here. And when I was drinking a lot more, I was always trying to find some kind of way to, mitigate the effects of the alcohol. And glutathione was something that was part of my regimen. It was like I would take, a bunch of glutathione to help with the oxidative stress, I guess, that's occurring when your body is consuming the alcohol. So I guess now that I've seen this, I understand why I was taking the glutathione, and while the C60 is actually superior because it's in a supportive state. I'm just kind of connecting the dots here as I'm reflecting on my past indiscretions.
Well, being as sick as I was, but sober of antibiotics or any of the drugs they offer, I saw every inch of what I lived through and how powerful this remedy is. But I did a number of other things, because I also bought this because I had to check my heart and lungs. I mean, I didn't want to tell my family, but I was dangerously low.
Oh boy.
No, I was in the 80s for
Oh,
heart.
that's really not good.
Yeah.
No, oh my God, I was in the 80s. I was kind of gasping for air walking around the house, and and my blood pressure, my heart rate was over 100. So, yeah, I've been really
Wow.
challenged, but because I don't have to rush anywhere, I really kind of noted every inch of my evolution. This was stunning, but because I'm, repping the company with Chris, representing the company with Chris, I wanted to experience the unbelievable assault on my body, which was stunning. Even my heels were cracking, same
Hmm.
as my lip. I'm like, this was serious. And I slowly but surely had to push all the toxins out of my mitochondria, head to toe. And
Well, I can only
when
imagine. I mean, if you don't mind, like you went through uranium poisoning, and this stuff brought you back to life. I mean, it sounds like what you've just experienced was like a serious, infection or some kind of respiratory situation that, I mean, kind of, I would assume pales in comparison to uranium poisoning, but at the same time, you have the tools and you executed them and were able to, pull out of it, which is
it took a lot of discipline because it's still lingering. I've muted twice to cough. Like, this is the first show I've done in 2 weeks. I've never said that since we opened the company. I couldn't do it.
wow.
And, a lot of people were saying, just get on antibiotics, make it easy on yourself. And I'm like, I'm the queen of Evo, and I'm going to tolerate this, and I'm going to feel the evolution. But what I want your audience to know was that the reason I wasn't sleeping still as maximally as what we could on the Evo is that I was too toxic. And I thought I had detoxed enough, but I live in the world where we are just hit with everything: food, water, air. We're being hit, phone call, whatever. And we have to be strong and know how to come out of all these assaults. But if you're too toxic, you're not going to sleep. So detoxing with Evo, C60 Evo, is going to make a huge difference. And the capsules are for traveling or for people that don't like oil. And the oil is the direct route right to everything in your system. A spoonful in the morning is all you need to notice the benefits all day long. But when Chris was talking about the mitochondria, 2 million in every cell in your brain, compared to 5,000 to 500 in every other part of your body except blood, we're talking about serious brain power with C60 Evo. And when you decalcify your pineal gland, oh my
Hmm.
God, a little
Yeah.
evolution there.
Yeah. No, that's a whole nother thing too. I mean, with the 3 month journey, if we could bring that slide up, because
Sure.
I do want to bring us back to that, because I've been on much longer than a 3 month journey, and Patty, it shows month two, because we're talking about the sleep, deeper sleep. Users report improved sleep rhythm. Break it down for us.
All right. A lot of times, month one, where you notice energy and focus, it's because your brain's clearing. And my mom is going to be 97, and she can still tell me everything since I was 10 because she's been taking C60 Evo. Sadly, she's watching a lot of old people pass away around her, but my mom is so strong. It's crazy. So, in the first month, you're going to notice that your brain has less mind fog, brain fog, and you're starting to really boost your energy. Where it's 5 in the afternoon, you're like, wow, I didn't take a nap. I hear that a lot. So that's the maximum time that it takes is a month, but most people notice the first spoonful. About a half hour later, an hour, I've gotten phone calls from all my friends going, come on. Like, am I imagining this? It's like, no, I told you. It's a gift. So, month two is when we finally cleared some of the mitochondria enough to be able to go into a restful state with your whole system. Your mind is more clear. A lot of people claim that they have a lot longer fuse with their children or with their partners or with, anything, because you're just more calm. And Chris has talked about the deeper sleep, which now we know is super important. So when you're sleeping better, you're more energized, you're more mentally focused, emotionally stable. You start to find this incredible resilience and consistent vitality. It's no longer like, oh, I forgot it and I'm crashing. You can go a day or two, but you'll notice. And it's not like, oh, I'm addicted. No, I choose to feel great.
Right.
Your skin looks better when you're happy. It just goes head to toe. So the resilience factor of having a full dose of it for 3 months, people absolutely notice the benefits from head to toe. And like I said, shocking to me that I got sick because it's 125 times more powerful than vitamin C in peer-reviewed reports. And I'm not talking about any other company than us. We are the only lab making ESS 60 in the world. And there's very few labs, period. But the ESS 60 is the clean version of carbon 60. And carbon 60 usually relates to industrial, which we would never sell to people. So the ESS 60 is absolutely exceptional. And that's what's changing people's lives around the world. The testimonials are consistent, and we will not mention actual diseases that people have said, oh my God, for the first time in 15 years, I don't have this. We can't name it because it's not allowed. But A to F and Z, we are getting testimonials where we're just like, oh my God, I love that. People's pets. Yeah, I mean, I have to put my dog to sleep. Let me give you some Evo. 2 years later, it's like, what's in that? Yeah, the capsules, 6 a day is the recommended dose. But my psychic friend, she calls me the day I gave her a bottle, and she said, this feels like crack. What is this? And I said, how many did you take? She said, one. One. So, yeah, it's the real stuff. So, six, I don't know. That is a teaspoon. And you and I are hardcore. Chris is hardcore. I go tablespoon in a heartbeat. So that would
Oh
be like,
yeah.
20 of them.
Well,
But
and that's actually what I was initially taking for quite some time. It was a tablespoon every morning, and then I after I looked at the bottle, I said I think I might be taking a little bit too much, so I kind of dialed it back to 2 teaspoons a day every morning. So, but you know, personally, I mean, just from a taste standpoint, I enjoy it. And being from Italian heritage, my wife being Greek, olive oil is a staple. But having something that, olive oil is on everything. We put olive oil on everything. But having this as a standalone part of my day is kind of enjoying. Kind of I look forward to it. I love my bread and the olive oil and whatever I'm doing, but to have this kind of like this little bit of olive oil every morning it's a nice little treat.
oh, yeah.
But the benefits that because Chris, we went through this when you guys took us through the lab, and for our viewers watching, you guys got to go to watch the lab interview. That was freaking crazy to see how all the beams and the power and how you guys are taking how it's made is remarkable. And then the spinning in the olive oil, I learned so much from that interview. But it is kind of like a little enjoyable moment when I do wake up and I take it. I look forward to it. So I really I thank you guys for supporting this show, and I thank you guys for disclosing these benefits to our viewers, and I really hope people will take advantage of it. I know people are, because I do read the comments, and I see how people are reacting to it. The comments are overwhelming, and they're positive. Now, I want to ask you, Patty, real quick, but for someone who's watching, right, might be struggling with sleep. Maybe they've tried everything, right? The melatonin, they've had sleep apps, white noise. What does the timeline look like? I know we kind of touched on it briefly, but what does the timeline look like when they first start to take the ESS 60?
Well, Chris has done the research, and he said within 2 months, you're going to notice a difference, right? Within
Well,
the
yeah,
first.
I think Patty did a pretty good job of going through month one, focus and energy, because you're really concentrating on those mitochondria, and there's 2 million mitochondria in your brain cells and your nerve cells. Month two, that deeper sleep. I think they're actually getting deeper sleep sooner, but everybody gets a little bit more or less sleep every day, and so it's not until month two that they really kind of, oh wow, that's when I started taking C60 Evo, and now that's what's landing on the sleep. And then month three is this. If you're reducing the negative impact of stressed mitochondria, then you'll have these systemic benefits. And, we have testimonials, frankly, we can't share because they're so powerful and they're so, disease related. We can't, if we share it, the FDA sees us as making claims. So we cannot do that. The testimonial I do like to share is my father-in-law was walking with a cane. About at the 3-month mark of taking the formula, he started walking without the cane. This caused him to walk further, right? And as he's walking further, he's losing weight, not because of our product, but because he's actually walking further. These are the kind of systemic benefits that people report to us at about month 3.
So, Patty, I want to ask, how do people get started? Like, when we look at these different packages that are available, what would you say if somebody wanted to just kind of dip their toes in the water and they wanted to get started? What should they know, and what do you advise that they purchase?
Just do a screenshot of this image and go for it. The olive oil is our number one seller because this bottle delivers the exact product that the rats lived 90% longer and died without any tumors. It was this exact formula, C60 Evo organic olive oil. And I do want to mention that it's actually extra virgin cold pressed olive oil from a specific farm in Tunisia. This is not your Costco daily. It is real strong organic olive oil. And it comes in 4-ounce, 8-ounce, 16-ounce. And if you really love yourself, a 32-ounce bottle of C60 Evo olive oil. And when you were talking about the face serum, this is our number 2 item that we highly recommend. We call it the starter set for people to say, what should I start with? Go for a bottle of olive oil and the advanced facial serum, which has the essence of rosemary. It is so lovely, morning and night. We sell equally to males and females. Nobody hasn't loved it yet. So that's what we recommend. It's called the C60 Evo Starter Set. Comes in the 4-ounce or the 8-ounce if you want to go teaspoon or tablespoon. But you'll love how much better you look and feel.
Now, I want to ask you a quick question, Patty, and maybe you could settle the debate here in our household. Because, I have the product, I keep it on my studio desk. I have some in the kitchen. I have some in my bathroom. I have some on my nightstand. And, sometimes I'm in a hurry. I can't, be running up and down the stairs, all going, looking for what I need. And I'm like, well, to hell with it. I'm going to do the dog lover set, right? I'm like, I could take the stuff that's made for the dogs, right? I mean, and it even has this bacon essence in it. I'm like, hell, let's go. I mean, that's fine to do, right?
Yeah, it's actually a bottle of this with a little bit of bacon essence. It is nothing different, and the cap formula has a little salmon essence, but it's this, our number one seller, that has delivered all the peer-reviewed results. I mean, our lab is famous because we're the ones delivering the products. We're the only ones, like I said, making ESS 60, which is the evolution of carbon 60. I mean, the difference is remarkable.
Well,
Cat formula, dog formula.
Well, and I appreciate you settling this debate, because I'm going to have a talk with my wife, because we're like rushing out the door. I'm like, did you take your stuff today? And I said, well, then just take this here, just real quick, just have the dog version. And she's like, I'm not taking the dog version. I'm like, it's the same thing. I'm like looking at the bottle, I'm reading the ingredients. I'm like, it's the same exact thing. And it was just kind of a funny moment in our household, and we were getting in an argument over. I'm like, it's fine, just you can have it. She's like, but it says it's for dogs.
Tell her
I'm
this.
Like, no.
When I said bacon was added, bacon natural essence, a lot of men wrote and said, I want the bacon one. So I said, get the dog formula and ignore it. So bacon, no problem. But I want to give you a new trick as soon as I restock your capsules.
Please.
you're a man. You always have pockets in your shorts or pants or robe. Stick these in your pocket. Always have them in a pocket. Try not to throw them in the laundry. But if you always have them handy, and the capsules are the way to go. Just,
Yeah.
stock up your pocket and keep yourself cooking.
Well, I think what I've really learned is I should, because I've got the bottles, but the capsules, because you gave me a good amount, and I was just kind of working through some of the product. I really should have saved the capsules for moments when I need to travel, when I need to go out at night, or do something where I might regret how many cocktails I've enjoyed. So I'm actually gonna, the next time I get a package from you guys, I'm definitely gonna put those capsules on the side for those very moments.
Good.
So that I have it with me, so I don't have to go without, and I can still continue to have my body working at the optimal level.
It really makes a difference, especially when you're traveling, especially when you're partying. If it's preventative, if you know you're going to party tonight, pop some Evo midday, and you're going to really benefit with your whole body. Plus, when everybody's getting a little tipsy, you're going to still be solid because your brain is going to have less fog. No matter how much you drink, you're going to be ahead of the people next to you.
That's
Drink.
remarkable.
Excuse me.
So
Yeah.
before we go, any final thoughts, you guys?
I think we've covered a lot, but again, the most amazing thing to me was surviving a monster detox, and now I'm sleeping. God, I don't think I've ever been this comfortable in my bed as I have, pushing the stuff out of me that was who knows what from where, uranium. But the sweating, I know I was detoxing. And now that I'm cleaner, and I mean, not touched anything for 2 weeks, barely coffee. Come on, me no coffee? Mm-mm. I am clean as a friggin' whistle today. And when I do my Franchi, God, I got to be careful now. When I do my Franchi morning, I'm blasted off all day long. So stay detoxed, take your Evo, especially if you know you're going to have a big hike. You need to keep up with your kids. You're going to go hang out with friends and you just want the advantage of being the first one that makes it up the mountain. Whatever it is, it's a secret advantage to take it in advance because it really works to give you immediate energy. In my opinion, I can't say for anybody else, but boy, oh boy, does it work well. And that facial serum comes in the most beautiful gift box. It slides out. Oh, this one's taped because I ran out. And it slides open. It's a lovely gift. Looks like this when it arrives. But you try the face serum and the olive oil, the starter set, and you're going to love C60 Evo like we do.
I love it. No, guys, I really appreciate what you guys do, what you're educating our viewers on, and most importantly, what you're doing for me personally and my family. So I can't thank you guys enough.
I would add
go ahead,
just
Chris.
one small thing. On your landing page, if you scroll down to the bottom, our best deals for your audience are down there at the bottom. So that's the Reduo. A little bit further.
Wow, this is deep.
Yes. So that's so there's a special deal on 6, and the reason we did 6 is we talked about the 3 months to kind of really have the full experience on the product. You can take those other 3, maybe give it to somebody, or be selfish like I would, and I would keep all 6.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. There's so much on this page.
And there is also a discount on subscription. So even if you just want to try one of these sets, then go ahead and go on subscription. You can cancel at any time. Our customer service team has 1,000 5-star reviews on Google. They're not trained to talk you out of canceling your subscription. They're trained to help you, and they do an amazing job.
And I want to say my biggest brag is that 70% of our sales are resubscribes, which says to me, people don't want to get off it once they start. And the few people that have, said, yeah, try it for a little while, they came back and bought twice as much.
Yeah.
So it really helps. And, we need to be our best selves right now because we're going to be tested. But I think we're also going to be really celebrating because we are moving into a fabulous chapter of human history that we are all really a big part of, you know?
No,
A
there's no
lot more than
question.
people know.
There's so much happening in the world, and our bodies need to be operating at optimal levels, because it's not just, atmospheric or, effects. I mean, there's stress at so many levels that we all have to deal with. And I think, you just look at, I look at the news every day, and it's just like, oh
Yo.
my God, like what's happening now? You wake up and, you wake up to a phone call and it's, oh, we're bombing Iran. I'm like, okay, here we go. So, guys, I want to thank you so much for supporting the program, supporting the channel, and supporting our viewers and our family, and look forward to having you guys back again.
Thank you.
Gary.
Your landing page, I just want to give everybody the address, c60evo.com/NNN. And you will find his landing page with the secret discount code and the specials that we don't offer on the website. It's only on your landing page. And I didn't even know that they popped that back up there. So I sat quiet while Chris taught me that we're still running a nice special for 6.
Oh,
And
yeah, that's good.
that's
Yeah,
a good
great.
investment.
All right, Patty, Chris, thank you guys so much for joining us. Now, Patriots, let me tell you what you just learned. One night of bad sleep, 4 hours, and 70% of your cancer-fighting immune cells gone. The billion-person study, you lose an hour, heart attack spike, 24%. Gain an hour, drop 21%. Sleep is not rest. It's when your brain clears toxins through the system. It's when your body releases the growth hormones. It's when your immune system activates. And without it, you age faster, you get sicker, and you die sooner. That's the science. Chris just showed us the sleep quality crossover study, the improvements on ESS 60. Benefits fading when they stop, coming back when they restarted. The 3-month journey, month 2, deeper sleep, right? Quote, for 50 years, I needed an alarm clock. Now I wake up before it. And that's actually happening to me right now. I wake up before my alarm clock. So if you want to try ESS 60 for yourself, you see the link. It's on the screen, c60evo.com/NNN. Make sure you use the promo code when you check out. Patriots, sleep is not optional. We'll see you at the next one. Comment below too. Make sure you comment. I want to hear your testimonials when you take this product. We'll see you at the next report.
The system controls information. Information control is power.
They don't want you to see this.
The truth only survives together. They don't want this shared. Share this now. Out.